And time to talk to the doc on a Tuesday morning, presented by Mako's Market and Pharmacy, 240 East 3rd Street in downtown Uricksville. Mako's Pharmacy, your local pharmacy with a very caring and knowledgeable staff. And good morning, Dr. McKnight.
Good morning, Steve.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Here we are, February. Did you catch a little bit of a spring fever yesterday?
I was enjoying it, yes.
Man.
I wasn't out too much, but I did enjoy it.
It was unbelievable. It felt like late March or early April instead of early February.
Yeah, but it's going to change quick, it looks like, right? So.
That's the thing. I mean, usually this time of year we're talking about school closings due to weather situation, but I've heard several schools around the state are closing this week because of mass illness, not only the students but the teachers coming down with this. And last week our topic was the coronavirus. Hoping this is not the coronavirus, but probably just your typical flu bug. Or
I think it probably is the flu. I checked actually this morning to see what the update was on the coronavirus and the flu virus, and in the United States right now we have had 19 million cases of influenza.
How is that? And again, I don't know the numbers. Is that above? Below?
That's
is that
probably a little bit above the average.
Okay.
The death rate is 6.7% from influenza, and 7.2% makes it an epidemic. So we're kind of pushing that, but this is pretty typical. But I think it may have something to do with the warmer weather. But it's really hit us pretty hard here in Ohio.
And you talk about the we've discussed this in past episodes about these viruses every year, that they have to come up with the vaccines, and they mutate, they change, and so it's difficult to keep up with the virus each year.
Right.
But every year we have that flu shot available. How effective, and what are your suggestions for people at this point?
Well, and that's the thing. You never know how effective it is. So the manufacturers will look at the most common strains. I'm not sure what the number is. Let's say the 5 most common strains of influenza from last year, and they'll say, okay, we're going to make a vaccine against these 5 strains. But of course, by the time they're making the vaccine against those strains, they're already mutating.
Wow!
And again, what I mentioned last week was that the flu virus, a virus is a very simple molecule. It's DNA with a protein coat around it. That's it. There's nothing else. So that protein coat has a signature look, and that's what we make the vaccines against, that particular signature look. But when the virus mutates, it changes the coat,
right? So
you can't recognize it. So that's why the vaccine is not 100% effective, and that's why some years the vaccine is less effective, because if the mutations are greater, then it's harder for the vaccine to recognize it.
At this point, being early February, are you still giving the flu shot? Is it past time to do any good, or how does that work?
Yeah, we usually give it past right up until March or April, when it starts to die down. But the best time is early in the fall, so you have coverage for the winter months.
So we probably haven't even seen the peak of our cold and flu season really here in Ohio yet?
I think we probably are getting to the peak right now in this area. I had been waiting and watching and talking to the emergency room for the last month or two, and we really weren't seeing too much activity until the last 3 or 4 weeks.
That's frightening.
Now we're seeing it, and maybe that's what's happening in Ohio. It's widespread across Ohio.
From a doctor's suggestion, best scenario to tell people, is it wash your hands over and over again? Is it cover your mouth when you're coughing?
Exactly, both of those things. And you see people now covering, when they cough, they'll put their arm up over it as opposed to their hands.
Correct.
And you're not putting the virus in your hands that way. So washing your hands, and if you're sick, don't go to work, don't go to school. You don't know if it's influenza unless it's tested, but if there's a chance, just don't be around people where you could spread it.
Is it like a fever thing? I mean, when you just don't feel well, but if you're running a fever, obviously you don't want to go out around other people because you'll spread it. But
right.
It's just try to contain it as much as we can, right?
And flu hits you pretty hard. A lot of us get colds in the winter, but flu hits you really hard. Fevers, chills, achiness, joint pain, muscle pain. You don't want to move. You just feel just absolutely
Sure.
awful headaches.
Best thing to do is stay in bed.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Stay home, get plenty of rest and fluids. I'm a big fan of vitamin C supplementation. The RDA for vitamin C is 60 milligrams a day, but I did a nutritional test on myself, and I need close to 1,000 milligrams to be at my optimal.
Interesting.
And so, it's something that I try to supplement every day, and that helps to boost the immunity.
So interesting you say that, because I personally have a problem with like a citrus fruit. It kind of upsets my stomach, and I get that same kind of feeling when I take a vitamin C pill a lot of times.
Yeah.
So some people, it's a thing where you take too much vitamin C and you kind of get an upset stomach from it. But I get the point of how that definitely boosts the immunity.
Yeah, what I would say there is take it with food, and the second thing I would say is if you have problems with one particular brand, try a different brand, and maybe go to the local health food store and talk to them.
Sure.
Because sometimes I have a cast iron stomach. Normally I can put just about anything in it and not get sick, but I had problems taking a plain old multivitamin.
Interesting.
And until I got a different brand.
Interesting. And of course, we mentioned this, our friends at Mako's Market and Pharmacy, who sponsor the program. They carry a brand which you and I are both very high on, which is called Nutriscriptive.
Right.
I found just about everything I've taken from them does not affect me that way. I mean, it's very pure, very high quality company, that Nutriscriptive.
Highly recommend that Nutriscriptive brand. And I told a few patients yesterday, I said, one person was having some achy joints and some muscle pains and some arthritic pain, and I said, why don't you get some turmeric? And he said, I've heard of that. I said, well, get this high-quality turmeric, the Nutriscriptive brand, take 2 a day till the bottle's done, and then you tell me if there's a difference. It's pretty simple, really.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah. Good advice. We're talking with the Dr. Tim McKnight, in studio, as always, on a Tuesday morning. And I know you're following this very closely, but this thing has dominated the news. It was our topic last week, the coronavirus. But, man, this thing has continued to explode around the world. I believe there was the first death outside of China happening in the past week as well. So this is definitely something that they're watching very closely.
Yeah, it is interesting. I checked this morning. As of today, these numbers were calculated, I believe, in Europe as of early this morning. There are 427 deaths worldwide. Over 20,000 cases, almost 21,000 cases reported. The death rate is 2% compared to the influenza virus, which is 6.7%, and that's 19 million Americans. So the message there is pretty clear. We need to really worry about influenza. Be careful. But yeah, this thing is it's spreading. Almost all of these cases are in China. So there's 20,626 cases, and of that total, 20,458 have been in China. We've had 11 reported cases in the United States.
And fascinating that you, in your office, I mean, all of our physicians are having to think about this virus now on top of the flu and everything else. It gets difficult to figure out what everybody actually is coming down with.
Yeah, and for us, we really rely on the local health departments. They're an excellent resource. They keep us updated, and if there are reportable cases in Ohio, they'll let us know, and we'll be more on the alert to test it and to be more cautious. But right now, 11 cases in the United States. I don't think any have been reported in Ohio.
Right.
So we're not to that point where we panic just yet.
I know we had a couple of Chinese students at Miami University down in Oxford that they had quarantined. I saw the results came back; they were negative, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're getting a handle on this thing, and it'll be a passing phase
it's
here.
It's the international travel. It's something that we didn't really have too much of a problem with 100, 200 years ago.
That's a good point.
Boy, people can just come and go quickly, and those viruses are they spread fast when you go that far.
Absolutely. Wash your hands. Keep a lot of Kleenex handy.
Yeah.
Vitamin C. That's the advice from the doc today.
Yes, absolutely. Pretty simple, but don't panic. But let's just use good hygiene and good common sense.
Look forward to talking again next week.
Thank you. I'll be here.
All right, Dr. Tim McKnight in studio, helping us stay healthy and feeling good on a Tuesday. Talk to the Doc again, presented by our friends at Mako's Market and Pharmacy, 240 East 3rd Street, downtown Uricksville. Come in. Their staff very knowledgeable to help you on health and wellness at Mako's Market and Pharmacy.